Luan, hello.
Hi, Sabir.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, doing good, thank you. It's great to be here.
So good to see you. It's been what? I was working out the other day. It's been about 15
Yeah,
years.
it's been some years. Could well be more than maybe 11.
I worked it out. It was around 15 years, I reckon.
Stop it.
Okay, yeah,
What?
crazy how time
Where's all the
flies.
time gone?
I know. Well, it's good to see you. How are you? You're looking extremely fresh, extremely lively today.
I'm trying my best.
Good, good, good.
How have you been?
I've been good. I've been good. Obviously, it's been a challenging time for everyone over the last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just I guess just trying to adapt. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We're forced to stay at home. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we're in second lockdown now in the UK.
That's what I heard. Yeah, another tier. So I was speaking to someone from the UK the other day, and they were telling me that, you guys are back on lockdown. And I thought, my goodness, because it's so frustrating sometimes, Over here in Trinidad, it's a bit more relaxed. We're able to go out. We have to wear our masks, of course, but we're able to go out. And, so at least being able to go out, it does help. It really does help.
Yeah, but the first lockdown was quite challenging. But I guess for me, it was because I do a lot of work from home anyway. So my kind of day to day didn't really change that much. Of course, we had restrictions, not allowed to go out, but for a lot of people who have work outside and who like to go out after work for drinks or dinner, it's challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You're stuck at home, and that's a whole nother dynamic of being, at home in the house with these people 24/7. That's a whole nother dynamic there in itself. So,
How have you found it with your family during this period?
it actually it kind of worked. What we try to do, we try to stay in our separate rooms at times. So there are times when we're definitely on our own, and then we try to do game time. So Scrabble has like become a big thing. So we do Scrabble, so we have that game time, but we definitely have alone time, which I think is so important. Yeah, you're in your room, I'm in my room, or I'm in the kitchen, or you're here, or wherever, and that way we've been able to kind of maximize our space and things like that. So it has helped. It has helped.
Yeah, I was down south in the country. I went to see my parents over the Christmas period, and we played a lot of Scrabble as well.
Scrabble. Listen, Scrabble is the game of 2020.
Now, Luan, I'm sure we're going to go into the fabulous work that you're doing in Trinidad. I know you're heavily involved in helping people flourish with their own skills, especially with confidence speaking, public speaking, which we're going to touch on, I guess, shortly. But if you don't mind, I wanted to actually take it back a few years, quite a few years. Because we, of course, studied together for 3 years.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
In the UK.
Well, what is now University of Bedfordshire, in our day, it was University of Luton.
You're right, yeah, so it's changed now. The name has changed to the University of Bedfordshire. And just for those watching, of course, we studied media performance. And I think from the very beginning, and I don't think I've ever shared this with you, but you struck me as being quite a confident person, but you seem to have this inner confidence. And naturally, you weren't, I would say, a loud person at university. I always felt you were a thinker, someone who thought a lot about their experience.
Yeah, yeah.
How close do you think that is to who you actually were back at university? Is there a sense in that at all?
Absolutely right. You're hitting the nail on the head there, and that was for several reasons. Confident because I think I came into the class. I was older than everybody at that time. I was 24, and a lot of you guys were starting out at 18 or something like that. So there was that age difference that caused me to be a little more confident. Also, having migrated from another country, I felt that it was, important to kind of, just to kind of, assert myself, and not kind of be too shy and fall back, but kind of assert myself. But it wasn't hard at all. I mean, it was because it's media, and we all were there with that mindset that we're here to be creative and things like that. It was quite easy. And of course, you and I had a natural flow. We both had a passion for acting, for media, and that kind of thing. So we naturally flowed well together with a couple of others, Nelly, and stuff like that. So it was an easy bunch to work with, but I think that confidence came from just, wanting to assert myself in a new environment, which isn't always easy, but I just had to overcome all the challenges of being from a different country and so on, and just assert myself, and it worked. It worked out, yeah.
So would you say that the course itself did something special for you throughout the 3 years? What would you say were your main takeaways from those 3 years? Because like for me, I think it did a tremendous amount for my own confidence. You may remember I came into that environment very introvert. I was extremely shy, and it took me actually quite a while to actually become comfortable with the environment. And it was a blessing really to have a course which forces you to come out of that introvertness which I had. It forces you to come out of your shell with performance, acting, and presenting. So that's what it did for me. I'd be interested to know what that experience did for you.
Yeah, yeah, along the same lines, pretty similar. And as you rightfully said, we had to do a lot of performances, and we had to work in groups. And I think working in groups at uni was one of the great things for me. It built that kind of team building. I even remember for our final project, we had so much work to do towards that final production. And, I learned so much about people during that time, and working with people and time schedules and understanding people's emotions and things like that. I think during that final production, there was some tears. It was just so much, So I learned about working with people, and I realized that I had a love for working along with people who were, in my similar industry and things like that. And I think that's where my passion sort of grew, with understanding that people are what I and who I want to, invest my time and my energy in. And that definitely came out of, you know, working alongside the groups, you guys at uni. It was an incredible growing experience. And it also kind of took me out of my local comfort zone. Of course, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, for those of your listeners who don't know. And of course, I was in a local shell, but coming to class, I mean, we had people from all over Europe and just, places just everywhere. So it was a nice melting pot of cultures that, we were able to work alongside and really build and grow. So that was one of the amazing things to me, learning to work with different people and enjoying that experience and realizing that's what I was meant to do.
Now that's really interesting. Thanks so much for sharing that. Now, of course, fast forward to where you are now. You're heavily involved in media, helping people with things like public speaking. And did you always know when you left university that at some point your work would be involved in media? Because I know a lot of people in the group who studied with us didn't necessarily go into media, which is also quite normal for a lot of people who study at university. Did you always know that you wanted to do something in media?
I did from quite a young age, actually. Before I came to uni, I was actually working on radio, and I thought, I want to expand and grow. And I decided to migrate and study. So it had always been a passion of mine to work in radio. I always say radio is my first love, So It was my first job, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. And then I came over to study, and I knew that I wanted to continue in the field of media. I did some television as well, which I absolutely love, and I want to, continue in that field, But I've always known that I would be involved in media in some way, but it has morphed over the years. So it isn't only just that I work on radio, but now that I teach radio, not only that I work on TV, but I also teach TV, and it has blossomed into the area of public speaking, which is kind of taking over. So, I'm seeing growth, and, that's going in directions that I may not have imagined. So public speaking, I didn't imagine that I would have such an overwhelming response, of people being interested in the field. And I've been looking at it some more, and the main thing with public speaking is that people want to get over their fear of, speaking to the camera, speaking to live audiences, and just being more confident. And that is an area that I've seen myself growing into over the years.
Now, I've never been to that part of the world. I've never travelled to Trinidad, but from the outside, it seems people there are very friendly, very, very confident. So oh, is that your phone?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
No worries.
It happens. No worries. See, what I wanted to ask was, as I said, from the outside, it seemed as if the Trinidadian culture, if you like, is very confident in their demeanour, generally as people, quite confident people. So has it been easy, or has it been, would you say, a challenge to speak to people in your local community about public speaking? Have people taken a natural liking to it?
On the local market here?
Yeah.
I think so. Yes, we are a warm people, the Caribbean at large, and let me extend an invitation to you anytime you're ready. Come through when the borders open, of course. So we're generally a very warm people, very kind-hearted, very jolly, and very talkative. So we are talkative people. But I found that within that, there are a lot of people. It's easy to talk in your family group, in private, and things like that, and stuff like that. But when it comes to doing things on a larger scale, going in front of an audience, customer service, being on the phone, things like that, hosting events, people tend to clam up. They tend to have a lot of anxiety. Anxiety is a big thing, that fear, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do this. And, you have to sing on stage, you have to do something at your local school or your office, you have to host a meeting. All these kinds of things create such an anxiety. So even though you're quite comfortable with your family, with your friend groups, and you're very talkative in these kind of scenarios, when it comes to something more formal, and where there's a bigger expectation from you, a type of anxiety kicks in that people aren't able to deal with. It kind of, destabilizes them, and they're not able to perform. So a lot of people have been flocking to the course simply because, Luan, we want to get over this anxiety. We want to be able to speak confidently, to influence our audience and things like that. But I'm so nervous. So, in the local market, and I've had students abroad as well, and this seems to be the central theme of what they need help with.
Cool. That's interesting because I guess we were studying at university, we all went through the experiences that now your students are going through. That challenge of overcoming that fear, the anxiety of public speaking.
Yes.
So when you're teaching your students, do you find that you're often relating back to your own experience? Do you ever have flashbacks of your time at university?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. You'd remember one of our favorite lecturers, Margo, Annett. She was very warm, and she was very gifted and talented, and she was very hands-on with giving her feedback. So I remember her. I remember her style, and I've been able to sort of implement that style when I deal with students. I do the sandwich method, and the sandwich method is really where I give a compliment after they've performed or done their piece. I give a compliment, then I give feedback, what could have been done better, and then I sandwich it with good job and keep going and things like that. And I've kind of picked that up from our lecturer, Margo, Annett. She was generous with her feedback. She's called, okay, puppet. So she was very warm and generous with her feedback. And for me, I found that helped me to grow and helped me to learn. And I've been able to flash back on that and use that in my teaching methods as I move forward. And I found that people respond very well to being praised and then helped and then praised again. So I found that the sandwich method works quite well. And that's definitely come from uni days.
Yeah, no, it's funny, it reminds me a very interesting story. So about 4 to 5 years ago, I used to live in London, in an area called Muswell Hill in North London. And I was there for about 2.5 years. And I remember one Saturday, I was just out and about doing some grocery shopping. Came out of the grocery shop, looked across, and it was Margo across the road.
What?
Yeah. And I had to like double think. I was like, surely not. Is that Margo? And it turned out it was. And I tried to cross the road, but I think she was busy and she had to kind of go off, so I didn't interrupt her at the time. And then I followed up with her a message on Facebook. I said, I think I saw you the other day. Do you live in North London? And she replied back and said, yeah, I'm in the same area.
What?
Then we caught up for coffee. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. Caught up for coffee in the local area. And then she actually came onto this podcast about 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was an incredible experience. And I remember actually getting quite emotional during the podcast because I had so many memories of what she did for me. And as you know, she was quite an incredible person, an incredible character. And she had a very unique way of not only teaching, but instilling belief in us that we were capable and we did have it in us to perform to some level. So yeah.
Wow, how amazing!
That,
you should send me that link. I would love to look at that.
I will. It was a very moving conversation for me personally, knowing what she did for all of us. Yeah.
Amazing. We had another great lecturer, Maria.
That's right, yeah.
Maria, and I do keep in touch with Maria on Facebook, so that's been great as well, so yeah.
Yeah, no, it's always lovely to stay in touch with people because we forget in the stage of our life where, it's part of our initial growth into kind of our working life. And thank God for social media where we can still...
I know, right? Exactly.
So I want to talk a bit more about your company, Increase Media, I believe.
Increase Media.
Has that been going well for you? Has that been successful? And how have people been resonating with the work that you're doing?
Right. So Increase Media, well, we've been around since 2013. I think I left the UK in 2012. And as soon as I came back to Trinidad, I started working on radio, and then I thought I would start teaching as well. So we kicked off in 2013, and it was slow progress, I would say. I was now coming into the teaching market, so I had to kind of build up my credibility as a tutor and stuff like that. So it did take a lot of time to build. I think, to be fair, I'm only now seeing the rewards of all the work that I've put in over the years. So it has been a lot of building. So we're talking about 5-6 years of just building, putting content in, putting my time in, my efforts, my energies, my expertise, not getting much back, but still continuing. I even remember situations like I had my course all planned out and I advertised as much as I could, and only one person responded. So I thought, you know what, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to do it with one person. So I got to the location that I had rented to do the course, and I'm there and I'm waiting for this one person. The one person, she comes. So she comes, I'm like, yes, I'm so thankful. So I'm going to do my best, whatever. So she sits there, we have a little conversation before we get started, and I, I had told her the price, but I think she misunderstood the amount. So when we discussed the amount, because she hadn't paid yet, so when we discussed the amount, she said, okay, I'm going to the car to come back. She left, and Sabir, she never came back. She literally never came back, and I was left there with the building, having to cover the rent for that course. And, so there's been a lot over the years in terms of building and growing a business. But I can safely say that within the last year or two, I have been able to see the results, especially when it comes to word of mouth. So everyone that I would have tutored over the years, they were able to tell their friends and so on. So it's been a progression of credibility build up. And now I'm seeing the rewards where people are coming to me, they're asking for the service, and people are recommending the service. So it's been a slow build, but it was a sure build and it's reaping rewards now. So, that's a little tip for people getting into business, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, nothing's happening, I'm not making a profit, I'm putting out so much valuable content, I'm not seeing anything in return. Keep doing it. You're going to get to a point where that thing is going to just blow up and you're going to see the rewards. So yeah.
You're so right. I guess you just have to keep going. And I was in a similar situation. That story you just told about that one person coming and then leaving. I remember doing my first event. This was actually in Luton about 3 years ago, and no one turned up. No one turned up.
Are you kidding me?
I had reservations because I did it through this website called Eventbrite. And I had maybe 5-6 people who actually purchased the ticket. It was actually a free event. It wasn't ticketed at the time, because this was my way of trying to build a profile, trying to get out there. Of course, and more so for me to build confidence in my own message. And I remember getting really excited at having 5-6 people confirm. I got the emails, had their names, everything. Got the place, negotiated a free venue, got all the food, the snacks, the drinks, ready to go. And come the time, I was like, it's getting quite close to the time, no one's turning up. And then I thought, okay, let me wait 15 minutes. Gave it 15 minutes, still no one. And then half an hour later, I thought, you know what, no one's going to turn up. So you're absolutely... You are joking. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. When you're trying to start something, you have to realise that it's not always going to be plain sailing right from the beginning. And like you said, it's that continuous grind of daily content, whether it's speaking to people or producing content on social media. Absolutely. How much has social media played a role for you? Because I know you do have social media accounts, which we can share as well. How have you found the process of sharing your content on social media?
Yeah, for sure. So people can contact or follow Increase Media on Instagram or on Facebook. So we're building those profiles, and you can, it's a direct message process. So right now, my business is at the place where I can directly speak with people, and my courses are live. I think there's a lot of value in doing live sessions, although I do understand why there are a lot of on-demand courses. I mean, you can't reach everybody, there's only one of you, but I feel that, especially now that I'm branching off into the international market in the US, the UK, even Australia, I want to start with the live sessions. I think that they work a lot better when you're able to connect with someone, well, virtually face to face, which is the best we can do right now. I think there's a lot more value in that. So it's very easy for people just to reach out. send a message in my DM or an email. All the information is there in my bio, and I do live sessions, and I think it's more fruitful, it's more productive, and we just dive in there, and we do things based on what you need. So every person would need something different when it comes to the area of public speaking. So I try to focus in on what that person needs. I mean, I do group sessions as well. The majority of my courses are group sessions, but I do a lot of one-on-one, because I think there's a lot of value in that. And again, I love communicating with people, chatting with people, meeting new people. So that's one of my buzz. That's one of my buzz, meeting people and doing the one-on-one sessions. It's amazing, you know, how much you learn about people, about cultures, about different worlds and things like that. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely include all your social media handles at the bottom of the notes for YouTube, so people know how to get in touch with you. Now, if there are people out there, maybe even here in the UK, who are considering learning about public speaking, what it entails, but they're a bit nervous, they're a bit scared, what would be, if you could think of, say, 2 or 3 key pieces of advice that you share with your current clients, what would you say to them for them to feel more comfortable?
Yeah, of course. So in terms of being more comfortable in front of your Zoom screen, in front of a live audience, with anything that you have to do, um, the first thing I would say is practice. Practice is so key. It probably sounds like a cliche. It probably sounds like, oh gosh, I've heard that before. But listen, it actually does work. Get in front of your mirror and practice, practice, practice what you're going to do. Because what that does, it kind of sets it in your brain. So it's kind of like on auto. So by the time you get in front of your camera or in front of your live audience, you've said it so many times in your mind, it's just going to roll off your tongue. All right, so that's one thing they can do. Another thing that I tell my students and my clients to do is to get laughing before you go on stage. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, laugh. Get your favorite joke on, get a meme on, get something that gets you laughing. What that does is actually it counteracts the adrenaline. So laughter releases endorphins that counteract the adrenaline that's released when you're nervous. So it actually has a medical benefit. So it's not just laughing for laughing's sake. Laughing really does counteract the nerves and the adrenaline that's released. So you can try that just before you go on. And another thing you can probably do, another little pro tip that you can try just before you go on, just before you go in front of your live audience or whatever, things like that, is to get a little massage. Your body instantly relaxes. You get somebody to do a little shoulder massage or back massage or whatever, you know, and that instantly tells the body, okay, we're going into relaxed mode. Don't overdo it because you're going to sleep mode, but just enough to get the body relaxed, to bring the, you know, the tension down. So those are some things you can do. And I've written a book about it, Sabir. It's called 101 Ways to Overcome Glossophobia. Don't be a nervous Rex. 101 Ways to Overcome Glossophobia. It's available on Amazon right now, an ebook. And I list 100 ways to overcome glossophobia organically over a period of time. And then I also list 10 quick fix tips. So you have to speak tomorrow. You don't have time to put into practice everything else. These are 10 things you can do immediately that's going to cut that anxiety and fear. So folks can look that up too.
Awesome. No, I'll make sure that I include that in the link at the bottom as well, so people can go to that. Now, there may also be people who are thinking, okay, I'm interested in public speaking. I want to build my confidence. I want to add this this skill to my arsenal. They may also be thinking, okay, if I do that, what kind of opportunities are out there in the world of work? So, what would you say to those people?
Oh yeah, it's an all-round skill. It's a life skill. public speaking, I mean, every employer is looking for someone that has the confidence to be able to build their brand and to take their product forward. So, first of all, it's an amazing life skill to have just for yourself, for your personal confidence and your personal growth. Learning a new skill, it does something for you. So, it has that personal benefit first to begin with. It's valuable to any employer because you're going to be able to assist them to confidently push their brand forward. And coming out of the course, what I've seen is that a lot of people, they get in touch with a lot of their creativity because I give them exercises to do, which are sometimes outside of their comfort zone. And they're able to tap into a creative energy that's probably been lying there and they've not been too brave enough to pull forward. So it taps into that creative energy and it allows people to explore things that they may not have thought of before. They would probably explore doing another type of job as a sideline business that they probably wouldn't have considered before. So it just opens them up to a lot and makes them more marketable, more confident, and has the potential to grow their income really. So I'd recommend it if I don't say so myself.
That's good. I'm sure people will find that interesting. Now, I talk a lot about the importance of excellence in our work, in our careers.
Yeah.
Especially the importance of character, integrity, and high performance. Do you think that these traits are important when it comes to public speaking, and even in roles where, as you say, you need to have that asset of being able to deliver confidently? Do you think we have enough, or do you see enough of this in workplaces? So wherever you've worked in the past or contacts that you have, do you see that as a common trait in people where they're emphasizing high performance, character, integrity within their media worlds?
Yeah, and I was actually thinking about this. I was thinking about the work that you do in terms of, excellence on the workplace and things like that. I was thinking about that this week because I knew we were chatting and I thought, I said, it's such an incredible area that you're in and an incredible niche, employers, now that I'm employer myself, I have people working for me, I realized how important it was when I was an employee. I mean, when you're an employee, you don't think about your boss, you don't care about them, you know. But when you could become an employer, you realize how much you need your employees to be disciplined and focused. And I think that there is a high demand with employers wanting that sort of excellence from their employees across the board, world over. Um, and I think it's important. I think the public speaking course helps you to build disciplines as well that would be useful in the workplace. But just to touch into your field a little bit, I believe that character and integrity development of the workplace is so important. It's important because what you give out there, that's what you're going to kind of receive in return. So if you're giving your employer, just late and, not doing your best and stuff like that, you find that that's generated back into your life in other ways. So it's incredibly important to build that discipline on the workplace. At some point, you might be an employer and you're going to want to have your employees being honest, number one, being on time and being invested and involved in growing your business as well. So I see the need for it across the board, and I think that there is a high demand for excellence in the workplace because a lot of times employees operate from a place where they don't see the need to be excellent, but the need is there simply because what you give is what you generate back to yourself, so it's super important. And I was thinking about that earlier this week, and I was thinking about the work that you do and how important it is, for employees to have this information that you give up, because it's investing in themselves at the end of the day, and not just their job. It is an investment in themselves. So yeah.
And it's interesting, you just mentioned a moment ago about the importance of the impact it has on oneself. Um, so when you produce extraordinary results, it's ultimately for yourself. And I guess the work that you're doing in helping people with confidence and public speaking is very much about that, isn't it? The journey. And we've been through that journey at university, and we know that it does a tremendous amount for you. It allows you, or even forces you, I guess, to ask a lot of questions about yourself, like who are you? What do you stand for? Why are you not confident? What's holding you back? Do you find that experience resonates in your kind of one-to-ones that you have with people?
Yeah, definitely it does. Sometimes it grows out of public speaking into the whole personal development area. It's so amazing because, conversation grows as you speak, it just grows and it morphs into its own thing. So I have found that, as I deal with people one-on-one in the area of public speaking, it does morph into how can I be better? Things like, wait a minute, why am I not confident? And sometimes you trace things all the way back to childhood, situations that would have happened that would have had an impact on you, and then you would have not been conscious that that's the thing that makes you, less confident in this or that area. I've seen instances where people have been told things as children, and it's important when you talk to your children, but they've been told things as children, and they didn't even realize that that was affecting them from speaking out, and even the level of their voice, because I talk about voice tones and things as a part of the course, and some people are unable to speak loud, and when you trace it back, it's because of something that would have been said to them or something that happened in their childhood, and they're not able to project their voice and things like that. So it's so wide, and I see a lot of people, and I do a lot of sessions with people, and it morphs out of public speaking into, wait a minute, why am I like this? And what can I change? What can I fix? What do I need to, mend, and things like that. So it's a very holistic journey, a very, very holistic journey.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, and the way you've explained it, that never crossed my mind actually, and it's so interesting because I guess in a way when you're working with your clients one to one, as you say, they're often being forced to go into thoughts that maybe they didn't even feel existed um, to some extent, right? So in a way, you're having to morph as well in your role as not just a public speaking coach, but also slash counselor, if you like.
Listen, yeah, you're right. It's so true. That's absolutely true.
How do you cope with that?
Yeah, and you're so right about that, because sometimes people are dealing with family issues, and things like that, and all that affects their confidence and things like that, So I'm sure to let people know beforehand, look, I'm not a counselor, but I do empathize with your situation. I understand. And um, what I can do is share from my life experiences, and, how I've handled things along the way and things like that. And this can help them. So sometimes all people need is really a listening ear, somebody just to listen. And I've found that that has become a part of my one-on-one sessions, where I just listen, where people just need someone that's neutral to talk to, someone who doesn't know about them personally or anything, and they can just listen neutrally, probably offer some advice based on their experience, or if they've been through something like that, but mainly just to listen to them and to be interested in what they're saying and to be concerned about them. And I find that people respond to you when you show concern. I always try to as much as is possible, follow up with people who have completed the course. They've done, we had a great exchange. I try to, follow up at least maybe once or twice just to, make sure everything is all right. So it's just not about the money and the experience, but it's more than that. It's about literally caring about the person as they move forward and trying to support as much as is possible without overextending myself, but offering that measure of support. So I think the best thing that you can offer in situations like that is to listen and to empathize and to show genuine and absolute concern. And that's literally what I do with my clients. Yeah.
Cool. And I also want to ask a bit about your experience as well in what you do, because it's quite incredible helping people bring up their own issues with confidence. I'd be interested to know what the experience does for you. How do you find upliftment in the work that you do?
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah, that's an absolutely great question. Um, and I'm glad you asked it, because a lot of times when you pour into people, you tend to pour out so much, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I feel tired. So so for me, what has helped me over the years is spirituality, my spiritual relationship, my relationship with God. I found that has been very filling, you know. And routines have been important for me. So I would have a routine of, waking up and spending time with God, getting full, and then I would go about my day, and then in the evening I would try a wind down routine. Watch a movie. I'm still watching Downton Abbey. I don't know why. It's done so many years ago, but I enjoy it. So that's like a wind down for me. So I have found that routines help to keep me in check. So I take the morning the first part of the day to spend with God and to fill up, and that carries me through the day. And then in the evening time, I try to wind down with things that I enjoy. My favorite TV shows, my favorite foods, and things like that. And so that routine has sort of kept me, and I think building a routine that you like, not that you feel forced to do, but that you like, it does keep you, it does fill you, it does strengthen you. So that's been working for me for now. I want to add traveling to my, as soon as the borders open, I want to get in the air. And I think that's going to continue energizing and filling me. So doing things that you like, at structured times, structure is important for your day and for your life, and it's not that I have it down pat, I'm working out stuff, but I found that, structure and routine helps to keep me, filled, grounded, and, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing, I'm able to give more. So that's helped. That's helped.
Good. Now, as I mentioned earlier in our conversation, I went to see my parents for a couple of weeks over the Christmas period.
Yes.
And for some reason,
how are they?
They're doing well. They're doing well. They're just outside of Luton in Bedfordshire.
Yeah.
So that's where my parents are. And for some reason, because we were talking about structuring your day, the importance of organisation, for some reason I find it difficult when I go away from my surroundings for a prolonged period of time. When I return, I always need 2 or 3 days until I'm able to get back to my routine and structure.
Yeah.
And I was pondering over this literally the last couple of days, because I was in a slump last week for about 2.5 days, and I really had to fight hard to come out of that mental slump. What would be your advice? I mean, I'm asking this from a selfish point of view, I guess. What would be your advice to try and deal with these slumps that I have every time I go away and then return? Are there any tools and tactics that you feel I could maybe use?
Well, I think even though I have been talking about structure and organization and things like that, I think it's important for us to remember that that we shouldn't idolize these things, you know, like, oh my God, if I don't do this, you know. So um, the human part of us, the natural part of us, kind of sometimes just goes its own way, and it kind of physically tells you what it needs, you know. So I wouldn't even term it slump at all. I would just say it's the body saying, hey, hello, knock, knock, knock. I want some rest. Right? And in times like that, when there's a mental block, you just feel like, oh, it could be the body saying, okay, let's recharge, let's do something different. I came across the word serendipity, which is where uh, you know, bounce upon something that is amazing. So, and when I was reading the book on that, it was just talking about take a different way home, uh, watch a TV show in a different language, speak to someone you've never spoken to before, shop in a different grocery. You know, so just that you place yourself in chance encounters. So when you do feel not slump, but the body talking to you, it then is an opportunity to do something creative so that you can physically put yourself into a situation where you spring, where creativity springs again. So, yeah, you might have this to do by that time and you don't feel like doing it. Okay, great. I'm gonna I'm gonna go to a dance class. What? I can't dance. Go. You're gonna meet someone there. You're gonna see something. You're gonna hear something. It's gonna spark you, you know. So I'm definitely one for kind of just going with your body and listening to what your body is saying or your mind is saying. I want something different. I want to do something different. Don't force me to do this, you know, that kind of way. So that's probably how I would deal and how I do actually deal with things. You know, well, I know it's super cold there, but you know, I come out, I go for a walk, you know, I take a different pathway home and things like that just to see something different, hear something different, see a different person, you know, that kind of way. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that advice. I've definitely noted it down. Mental note. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So before we wrap up, Luan, I just want to give you this opportunity to let us know of how people can get in touch. So if there are any social media platforms that you want to share, because I know you're reaching out now to people in the UK as well. You mentioned earlier you're going global, you're going worldwide with your public speaking, which is great. So if someone outside of Trinidad watching this and they want to connect with you about public speaking, what's the best way to do that?
Absolutely, and thank you so much for this opportunity, Sabir. So persons trying to contact me can email increase.media@hotmail.com. That's increase.media@hotmail.com. Or you can head over to Instagram right now. It's increase.media on Instagram. You can send us a DM right there. We've also got the website link in our bio, so you can click on that and schedule a session. We're on Facebook as well, so if you're a Facebook person, just look for Increase Media on Facebook, and you can send us a message there. We'll get back to you. So, so yeah, we live on social media. We're always there. So once you message, you're almost guaranteed to get a response straight away.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I just want to ask you one question. So this is a question that I want to start asking now to every guest who appears on the podcast. If I may, what is your personal definition of personal excellence? So according to Luan, how would you define personal excellence? So this could be in any setting.
Nice question. Personal excellence. How would I define personal excellence? I would define it as finding your favorite role and doing your best at it. You know, excellence tends to want to seem like an unreachable target. You have to be so perfect, but to me, it speaks about doing your favorite thing and being really good at it. And if you're doing your favorite thing, you're going to show up on time, you're going to give more, over deliver, you're going to enjoy it. So I would say doing your favorite thing and being good at it is the definition of personal excellence.
Brilliant. That's an amazing definition, Luan. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. So look, Luan, it's been, and genuinely from the bottom of my heart, it's been an absolute blessing and pleasure connecting with you. I know we haven't spoken like this for close to 15 years, so it really means a lot. It's been great connecting with you, and the power of social media allows us to do this.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I hope we stay connected. And just a reminder to everyone watching, I will make sure that I include all of Luan's contact details, which you just mentioned, all her social media platforms at the bottom in the notes here on YouTube. So you guys can reach out to Luan if you wish. She can help you do amazing things in the world of confidence and public speaking. So thank you again, Luan.
Yes, Bill, I just want to say a massive thank you to you for this opportunity. You know, I was so excited about it, and I'm glad that we were able to get it done. It's been brilliant. It's been refreshing. I feel energized. So glad we're able to connect after all these years. And I want to wish you the absolute best with your business. I think you're doing an amazing work, and hopefully we can work together in the future.
That means a lot. Thank you so much. And I know it's coming close to your lunchtime now.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It is pretty much.
Do you know what's on the menu yet for lunch?
Every Sunday my dad cooks, so we all go to my dad's house on a Sunday. Okay. So I'm not quite sure what's on the menu, but it's always good. Daddy's cooking is always good. So, you know, I'm heading down there and I know I'm going to be super happy.
Enjoy the fantastic food. I hope you have a good afternoon, and
thank you.
I'm sure we'll catch up again very soon.
Say again?
I'm sure we'll catch up again very soon.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, Sabir. All the very best.
All right. Take care. Have a good day.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I hope you found this valuable. Please remember, if you want to stay updated with my upcoming videos, I post every week right here on YouTube. If you'd like to stay updated with my videos, if you want to be notified when my next video is out, then please hit that subscribe button to ensure that you don't miss out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you next time. Until then, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.